The top stories: prosperous and united Africa can be realized through embracing diversity. And Ethiopia's new macroeconomic reform policy will unleash and transform its stagnant economy. Greetings and welcome to EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. I'm Hikma Tamam with the news for the hour. Stick with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed launched the construction of Addis Tomorrow Special Economic Zone in Addis Ababa. The launching event for the construction of the Addis Tomorrow Special Economic Zone was held in the presence of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, Addis Ababa City Mayor Adanesh Chabibi, and other officials, as well as invited guests. Since work is the only path to realizing our dreams, our sole political ideal is dedicated to labor, the Prime Minister wrote on his social media page after launching the construction of the new economic zone in the Ethiopian capital. On her part, Mayor Adanesh Chabibi said that the special economic zone to be built in cooperation with the Chinese CCCC on 35 hectares of land is a huge project like building a new city within the Ethiopian capital. She pointed out that the economic zone includes large malls, residential apartments, offices, educational and health facilities, as well as extensive entertainment and water bodies and sports centers. In addition, the economic zone includes infrastructures that provide social services, and it will be completed and put into operation in a short period of time, Mayor Adanesh said in a social media post. Foreign Ministry of Ethiopia extended its deep gratitude to the government of the sisterly Republic of Turkey, particularly President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, for his initiative to bring the two neighborly countries, Ethiopia and Somalia, to find amicable solution to recent differences. Foreign Ministry of Ethiopia said in a statement that the government of Ethiopia is also thankful to Hakan Fidan, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Turkey, for visiting Ethiopia, where he had meeting with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. The Foreign Minister's efforts demonstrate the exemplary manner in which the Republic of Turkey has taken its role of facilitating the talks between Ethiopia and Somalia. Ethiopia is confident that Turkey now appreciates the importance of Ethiopia attached to this facilitation and Ethiopia's legitimate interest and the peaceful manner in which it seeks to secure dependable access to and from the sea. Ethiopia has endeavored to de-escalate tensions and restore normal relations in the region, it added. Ethiopia looks forward for a more fruitful upcoming third round of talks with Somalia, the ministry affirmed. African Governance Architecture Secretariat for African Union reiterated that the dream of becoming a prosperous and united Africa can be realized through embracing diversity. Approached by EBC World, head of African Governance Secretariat for African Union, Salah Hamad, stated that since Africa is blessed with untapped resources, all the continent needs to harness this potential to deepen the sense of Pan-Africanism. Tigster Nisa has the full account.
The African continent has a great amount of potential, and through working in unison, it can foster a continent that can solve its challenges from climate change, poverty, unemployment, inequality, and more. Speaking with ABC World, head of African Governance Architecture Secretariat for African Union, Ambassador Salah Hamad, reiterated that the dream of becoming a prosperous and united Africa can be realized through embracing diversity.
Our dream today, which will be lived by our children and grandchildren, is to have an Africa that is united, prosperous and peaceful. And why that dream must become a reality? Because we need each other as Africans. Because our unity, our diversity must become a reason for our unity. We are a very diverse continent.
The ambassador further stated that since Africa is blessed with untapped resources all over, He says all the continent needs to do to harness this potential is to deepen the sense of Pan-Africanism.
We have almost everything we need. We have our youth, we have our natural resources, we have our fertile lands, we have our water, we have our great environments everywhere in Africa. What is really needed is that deepening of the sense of Pan-Africanism, so then we can believe as Africans we can move freely within this continent. We can start a new life anywhere we want in this continent, on this continent. That we can really build this continent the way we want and the way we deserve, because simply without uniting each other, among each other, we will not be able to really progress and achieve the dream of having an Africa that is united, prosperous and peaceful.
Youth representatives for their part disclosed that young Africans have to be the driving force to the unification of the continent.
Every youth throughout Africa should stand for themselves, should make sure to speak up so that their voice could be heard and their problems could be solved. And what I would like to say to the youth of Africa is that we have to make sure that we are the driving force.
To create a unified Africa, youths play a huge role. One of them being participating or engaging youths is one of the most important things that we could do to create a very unified and stable and peaceful Africa. The other thing that we could do is working on our economic policies or implementing new policies, working on our political, economic, and also cultural problems so that we can face these challenges and create a peaceful and also a unified Africa.
Population growth estimates show Africa as the fastest growing region of the world, with a growing youth population that will reach about 60% of the total population by 2050. The continent can take advantage of this demographic dividend by investing in quality education, teachers training, technology and innovation, which will boost productivity and create jobs and promote inclusive growth and prosperity.
Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Tiruneh disclosed that investing in the agricultural sector is a pivotal step in Ethiopia's stride towards sustainable development. The remark was made today at the opening of the Ethiopian Agricultural Investment Forum and Expo 2024 at the Millennium Hall located on the Africa Avenue, Bole area. Shaggai Matau has more on this.
The Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration with the GIZ, FAO, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, organized the Ethiopian Agricultural Investment Forum and Expo 2024 at the Millennium Hall under the theme Tapping Ethiopia's Investment Potential. On the occasion, Deputy Prime Minister Temesgen Tiruneh said that his government has taken several initiatives in recent years to modernize agriculture and ensure food security, and called for investing in the agriculture sector to ensure sustainable development.
With a series of strategic policy reforms that we have implemented in the past 6 years, we have proven the potential to produce multiple wheat harvests within a season, and significantly increased output using irrigation, input supplies, and mechanized farming. Investing in agriculture is not only pathway to economic prosperity, but also a commitment to sustainable development. As we face the global challenges of climate change, population growth, and resource scarcity, sustainable agriculture practices have become imperative.
Minister of Agriculture Girma Mente, for his part, outlined that effective work is being done to build climate-resilient agriculture, adding that he is committed to work with investors to promote agricultural innovation.
The Ethiopian government has put in place policies that encourage private sector investment in rural infrastructure such as market infrastructures and irrigation, adoption of modern agricultural technologies, farmers' access to affordable credit and financial services that can enable them to access improved seeds, fertilizers, and equipment, and implementing practices that are resilient to climate change, as well as ensuring that farmers have access to local, regional, and international markets that can help them to get better prices for their products.
Chief Economist of the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, FAO, Maximo Torero, commended Ethiopia for remarkable achievements on food security and vowed to support the country to strengthen agricultural system.
Ethiopia is starting to change. You know, we have been facing significant challenges in the world. We have the COVID-19 that affect all of us. We have the war in Ukraine that affect the inputs, the fertilizers, and the access to certain cereals. And production has changed, and you have the wheat initiative here, which have made you self-sufficient today through irrigation and through improved varieties. And there is a lot more to grow. But this takes time, and what we are observing in that green line is the improvement that we are observing now. So there is a reduction in chronic undernourishment relative to a negative situation that we are observing in the whole Africa. So you are making a difference, but this brings us the opportunity. If we want to continue in this change, because we want to accelerate to achieve the 2030 SDGs goals, the 2030 agenda, is the time to accelerate.
The two-day Agricultural Investment Forum is said to create an opportunity for investors to gain adequate understanding of the country's agricultural investment opportunities.
Moving on to the final news, an Indian investor asserted that Ethiopia's new macroeconomic reform policy will unleash and transform its stagnant economy. Ethiopian Steel PLC Chief Executive Officer Bhavesh Chandaria emphasized decade-long restrictive measures in Ethiopia did not yield any positive outcomes for the country. Goshu Melissel presents more from Ethiopian News Agency.
The recent Ethiopia's macroeconomic reforms have been making headlines showcasing significant policy shifts. This change aims to transform the economy, attracting global attention and interest. Talking to Ethiopian News Agency, Ethiopian Steel PLC CEO Chandra underscored the reform as a groundbreaking change that will revitalize Ethiopia's stagnant economy.
My reflection is it's well thought of, it is groundbreaking, it is not incremental change, it's transformational change. And this was the wish of the corporate incorporation, global economy, and many manufacturers and think tank of Ethiopia and East Africa for this to happen. And I think it is a very well done reform. It is comprehensive, it is well thought of, it is holistic. And business incorporation.
Chandaria noted that the macroeconomic reform will boost foreign direct investment and improve manufacturers' production capacities.
We cannot have a situation where manufacturers are suffering under capacity utilization.
Sure.
Now when manufacturing happens on African soil, value addition will happen, employment would be generated, localization would happen, indigenization would happen, tax will be collected, and the economic wheel would roll. We need value addition in Ethiopia. We need manufacturing to bloom. So TAMRIT Ethiopia, the program, has to escalate because of this. So this particular reforms, along with other ancillary reforms that are happening, would give a shot in arm to manufacturing. And when it's manufactured in Ethiopia, the consequential benefits would definitely be at the play.
The CEO further said the government has made tremendous moves to address the challenges before unleashing the forex reforms that would affect the low-income sections of the society during the transition.
I think government has done tremendously smart move of controlling 1/3 of living expense of poor people, that is rent. Before unleashing the forex reforms, they have already put in place the reforms which would control the rents. And even the rent agreements are registered. So 1/3 of typically, roughly 1/3 of the expense of poor people is taken care of. And government will decide and control the rise. So that is well done job and that the mass should appreciate. In this reform, it is embedded that the fuel, fertilizer, edible oils, foodstuff would have a kind of support through global agencies and through the government.
Chandaria suggests that the country needs to try the new things that are opening up the economy.
The benefit of doubt needs to go to the effort of change. We tried the other thing, status quo. It led us to this situation. So the other thing of restrictive economy, controlled regime did not pay rewards, isn't it? Now we have to give a benefit of doubt to this. What Ethiopia needs is optimism. Optimism from influencers, from media, from thinkers, from trade union, from labor union, from professional bodies, from investors like us. We need optimism.
Finally, he stressed that the implementation of the macroeconomic reform requires stakeholders' engagement, sound implementation plans, as well as change management practices.
As we wrap up the news updates for the hour, a recap of the top stories once again. Prosperous and united Africa can be realized through embracing diversity. And Ethiopia's new macroeconomic reform policy will unleash and transform its stagnant economy. Well, you have been watching ABC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism. I was Hikmat Aman with the news for the hour. It's a goodbye from me.